hello today. My name is Girlfriend, and this is the Girlfriend's Leather and Laces podcast. I am the 2020 Community Boot Black, so we do some leather care, some leather crafting. And today I have a very, very special friend with me today. And we're going to do some leather motorcycle care with us. As a friendly reminder, this is for an 18 and up only audience. So if you are under the age of 18, I do ask that you please leave at this time. I am so sorry. Please check out Scarlet Teen for all your other needs.
We're not for you.
We're not for you yet. Get a little bit older.
More than happy.
Yet. Yet. I love you a little bit later at a more reasonable age for all of us. My name is Girlfriend. Again, I'm your 2020 Community Boot Black. Any things that are said does not reflect on my title or any affiliations or things that are said about me or organizations that my friend reflects. These are personal stories reflected on our lovely individual. And today I have Madam Hexe, who is wildly adorable. We've been trying to organize this forever.
For a long time, finally.
It's been too hot.
Yeah, because fucking Florida.
It's Florida. But, so who are you? What are your pronouns? And what are we cleaning today?
Ooh. So I'm Madam Hexe. My pronouns are she, her. I'm a German dominatrix, and we are cleaning my Hardy heritage.
Oh,
because she's a dirty girl.
she's so pretty.
I know.
She's so pretty, though.
I know, but oof, yeah. My bike does live outside, so she gets a little more weather than some other motorcycles, because it's actually my vehicle. I don't own a car, so she gets out a lot.
But hey, at least you use your leather on the daily.
Right.
And you actually, like, take care of it. Does your motorcycle have a name?
Judas.
And
you know, not only for any like fun reason, but other than like Lady Gaga's Judas video. She's
Oh, gotcha.
on a motorcycle. She's on the back of a motorcycle, not for any like spooky reason, but I was just like, yes, girl.
Gotcha. I'm like, who are we crucifying today then?
No, it was just
Like,
Lady Gaga songs. I was like, that feels right.
That feels right
to me. Feels right.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. Well, first, we're gonna grab that tall pink bottle.
The tall pink bottle,
There we go. And we're just gonna wipe it down with some water.
Yeah.
Because that's important. And we're just gonna be working on the leather portion today.
Yes.
So
yes. We don't need to clean the whole damn thing.
Yeah.
We ain't got the time.
We don't got the time today. But we're gonna spray it down, and I do have permission to touch the bike. We went over that. We went in the house. I made ribs.
She did feed me.
A feed.
So
Full of food.
But we're like, oh yeah, let's go with this bike. Okay.
So,
Doused.
So, I have Fiddling's saddle soap.
Oh, I guess I should
Perfect.
allow you to do your thing.
Well, you can grab a brush because you're gonna be cleaning with me.
Yeah.
Or you get a small brush and I get a small brush.
Small brush.
Yup. And we'll both get some saddle soap. I can put it in the water.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to spritz it a bit. All right, got it. Let it go.
Perfect. All right.
Yeah.
So Judas, we're cleaning Judas. We're making Judas pretty today, and I'm super excited for that.
The next time I'm on YouTube, my little bike doesn't look quite so homely.
It's so pretty. And you take a lot of cute ass photos.
Oh, thanks.
All right.
Content available. No. We're not here for me.
Oh no, we're here for you.
She's like, oh no.
Oh no, we're here for you. So if you have any content available that you would like to plug and like how we can get a hold of you.
Oh, absolutely. You can follow me on Instagram at MadamHexe official for, you know, spicy hot biker goth stuff. And if you're into the extra spicy stuff, I use Just for Fans. It's also Madam Hexe. There's a link in my bio through Instagram as well. I love custom content. I love doing motorcycle shit. So if you want to see hot naked girls on a motorcycle, I'm your girl.
Hey Pop, can you go into the office and grab rags?
I do weekly and femdom content.
Nice.
On my channel.
I love it.
I'm gonna spritz the side a little bit because I'm
You are fine.
a little dry.
That is fine. I was just spritzing to spritz.
Yeah.
And again. And she does clean her motorcycle more than once a year. We were talking about that a little bit earlier off camera.
Yeah. There's some people that have leather on their bike. Well, most seats are leather. So they don't even do that, but like the bags and stuff like that, especially like the older styled motorcycles, like ones that are a bit more vintage, not like the super new ones, because they all got the plastic. And it clips too, if you want to just.
Oh, nice.
But,
I'm gonna clean the whole belt.
yeah.
For you.
They have never cleaned or conditioned their leather bag or the saddle, and well, that's why Harley Davidson makes such a amount of money refinishing your bags, because they have these that you can buy. They put a plastic liner to give it its shape back. I was like, took care of the damn thing, then it wouldn't have to be bought. Expensive thing.
Oh, that's infuriating.
literally, they call it like leather repair or leather, but it's not. They're not repairing the leather. They're putting stick support inside the bag just to give it its shape again.
Oh, that's infuriating.
Yeah, and I'm like, well, you know, if you just, I don't know, conditioned it once, twice a year, especially if it's in a garage, then you know you don't have to do it as often, but still, you should do it.
You should care more about your shit.
Yeah. Your bike, you're so proud of your rims, but your bags look like shit.
You should care. You should care. Tell us about motorcycle and what brought you into that.
I've just loved motorcycles since I was a kid. I thought they were so cool. Sad, my aunt, for whom I was a caregiver for a long time, is actually a paraplegic, and she was actually injured in a motorcycle.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's a little sad, but honestly, like, she still loves them. Like, she's blind, but when she hears the cycle, she gets so excited.
Oh, wow.
Things like that. So I've just loved them since I was little, because like, who doesn't feel like cool on a fucking motorcycle?
I know.
And anyone who says they bought a motorcycle because they didn't be cool is lying to you. I'm sorry. That's got to be at least one reason, is you want to look fucking cool. And I just started making friends that had motorcycles mainly, until I just finally took the plunge and bought my own instead of just borrowing bikes. And this is actually the first bike I have owned.
Gotcha.
We're happily in love, and it's fabulous.
Gotcha.
But there's actually a lot of overlap about like motorcycle clubs and stuff like that, bike history and like history.
A lot of overlap.
Bedfellows. Bedfellows, and I love telling angry sexual bikers that it upsets their day. But I'm like, history. No history.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm like.
No, it's funny every time like Pup and I go like somewhere vanilla, but we're in leathers, like when we're getting ready, like people automatically think, you don't need to bring the whole bag. People automatically think that we're part of a motorcycle gang and ask like what we ride, and I'm like, a Jeep.
That dick. I'm a Jeep.
A Jeep and that dick. Like, nope. Like I don't have a bike. Like,
my is I'm a woman. I identify as a woman, and motorcycle culture and women have like a really interesting kind of.
It does.
There's the chicks that ride, and then there's backpacks, and there's nothing wrong with a backpack. But the problem is, if you're a rider and you're a woman, a lot of people assume that you're the backpack. I have gone to the bar with a boy, and the bar, and I have been mounting my motorcycle because he rides on the back, because he's my cute little backpack. And I have had a man come up to me as I'm starting my motorcycle. Was that your bike? I'm fucking stealing it, mate. Like, what are you?
No, it's not my bike.
It's not my bike. I've stolen it. You know, whenever we have people come, like delivery men or something, come to the house, if my boy is out there, like in the yard for some reason, they're always like, "Oh, bike,
nice
man."
Bike.
He's always like, "It belongs to the lady of the house."
You're a rude person.
Yeah, so I mean, mainly it's people just being surprised. I haven't personally had, you know, someone come up to me and be like, "Ooh, I shouldn't ride motorcycles," mainly because my bike is bigger than the dudes that I ride with.
Gotcha.
So that's that. So I'm like, oh really?
Gotcha. Was there a reason you picked a Harley over like an Indian or like a Kawasaki or anything like that?
Not really.
Not really?
It was just one of those things I saw and I was like, I'm in love.
Deal.
I actually went to the dealership to see a different bike. I was gonna get a Fat Boy, and it was also like screaming purple. But it didn't have, and I'd like to do long distance trips. It didn't have a windshield. It didn't have any luggage. And then I saw this one, and I was like, oh, she's perfect. I'll take her.
Gotcha. Perfect. Sorry, I have fun note cards.
I think we're getting...
Tell us your first experience and what brought you into the lifestyle.
In BDSM?
Yes.
Okay. So many movies. No, I'm just kidding. I started in the lifestyle back in Europe. The age of consent in Germany for girls is actually 15, which is kind of creepy, but it is what it is. And so I started when I was 15, and I eventually found myself training under a man and kind of going through my paces, because you have to bottom before you're a top.
Yes.
And so I did that, and when I was about 19, my mentor was like, maybe you should try the other side of things. I was a good bottom. I did what I was told. Did everything perfectly. I loved it. I loved the idea of like doing things for other people. I'm just angry. So those parts of my journey were difficult. Certain things, of course, if you want to earn it, you have to take it. Yeah. So I have earned some things I would never want done to me, but you know, part of the rap. I came to Tampa in 2009. So I was on the top side since I was 18, and then came here after kind of figured out how to meet regular humans locally in the scene, and this is kind of history. Here I am.
Fun.
Causing problems.
Sorry, there's some fun things going on. Well, that must have been coming from the European to the U.S.
Yeah.
Those sound like totally different experiences.
They definitely are, like, especially in this local area.
Yeah.
I feel like...
Oh, no, from Chicago to here, they're two completely different sides.
Like, the area is like... I don't want to use the word casual in a derogatory term, but as far as like the leather scene, it feels much more casual, and maybe that's just because, like, you know, the events that I go to are not as, you know, super structured and things like that. But it was different, and you know, of a sweet being open and that kind of thing, and like, yeah, whatever is like was mind-boggling to me, because like go in a different town or something if you wanted to do that. Like it. My biggest culture shock on coming to the States, or this part of the States, was
pet play. Really?
Pet play, because in Europe, pet play is punishment. Like, it's slavehood. Like, you're dehumanizing.
Really?
The pet. It's not like here where you're like, come here, boy, you want to play fetch? And they're like, and they come with the ball. I love that shit. I would never really interacted with pets much in Europe because I didn't like it, because also the hoods are cute. I'm sorry, I know you're supposed to be being punished right now, but I want to scratch your ears.
There's something good.
Yeah, so that was probably my biggest, like, as far as like play scene goes, that was probably like one of my biggest shocks, was like, oh, they're not in trouble. They're just having fun.
Yes.
Oh, fantastic, good.
That's so strange. Because I come, like, for me personally, I come from more of the anime, like, furry convention, like, up in Chicago.
Okay, yeah.
And, like, up there, they were a little bit more structured back when I was starting out in BDSM.
Right,
it was very much more like a hush-hush closeted type thing.
Right.
But, like, I come from the furry community. And, like, they were, like, glomping in, like, the very young days of Yuri and Yaoi paddles. Like, completely different world now.
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh, God. Like, I probably,
Did you identify as a furry? Or
no,
like,
I definitely, I just kept always running into furry, so, like,
that's fine.
I just kept running into all of y'all. I was just a very cute cosplay girl.
Yeah. Just happened to hang out with furries.
I just loved hanging out with the furries, and I'm like, I understand your lifestyle, and I respect it, and
got it.
I don't have doing the things in the fursuits.
I don't have the technical skill, I think, to make a fursuit.
I don't either. I don't have the endurance to stay in one of those. Those things are hot.
The moving ones, they like move and shit.
Oh yeah, they're so cool.
Kind of terrifying, but you know, I'm like afraid of mannequins. I don't like mannequins and shit. So, furries sometimes, like when you get like a 6-foot furry and the mouth moves, I'm very uncomfortable.
Gotcha.
And it's not really the fetish. It's just like the mannequin / mascot thing.
The automaton.
Yeah. Oof. Like, I can't go to you know, the mouse's place and meet a.
Oh, the Mickey Mouse. Yeah, that was my own boss. I used to work in that room.
Yeah, not gonna. I cannot meet the characters. Cannot. No.
That's okay.
Exception would be like Donald Duck, because he's small.
I love Donald Duck.
Because they're like, you know, small.
I love him.
They're small, otherwise, phew.
It's okay. Pugsley can't meet Goofy. He's way too tall.
That's fair. That's fair.
It's way too tall. What is your power dynamic?
So I have a full-time master-slave dynamic with my boy, Spielzeug. How many years have we been together? Ballpark it, quick. Four? Go 4?
4 years.
4 years. He does live with me. It does not function like a traditional relationship.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't sleep in my bed. We don't, you know, he has his own room.
Mm-hmm.
Not a cage, not just the cage, you know.
Cage is extra.
So that's the full time. I am right now training another girl to be a submissive for me, because it's not like something that, I mean, you know, but we'll tell the internet, it's not something that like there's this one set of training manual.
No.
It's, when I say training, I mean specifically to service me.
If there was like a guidebook or a camp we could send our submissives off to and they come back like perfect uniform for us,
It'd be great.
that'd be great. No,
But-
that doesn't happen.
No, it's like, you know, you
Everyone's
have to,
different.
like when I teach, says one of the things I teach them to do is, because I love a cocktail, so I teach my S types, whether they're kind of like more long-term informal like my boy, or just kind of like passing through my life, how to make cocktails. I teach them first how the recipe is done traditionally, and then I teach you how I want it done, which is of course double the strength. But I always tell people, don't serve other people that, because you know some people don't want to be knocked over off their strength.
That's true.
But yeah, so we're working with her, and that's really it's a nice experience. She has experience in the lifestyle already, so it's not like she's coming fresh off the boat,
Yeah.
so to speak. And then I do have my baby girl, but our dynamic is it's so casual compared to what I normally do. That's why I'm like, technically yes, but also it just feels so different. And that's really interesting, because she's trying to figure out like what does daddy girl look like when it's two chicks. For, you know, because she's a femme lesbian.
Yeah.
So what does it look like? You know, and it's hard because she doesn't see a lot of examples in person. So
Yeah.
I said, you're gonna have to be
Wing
the
it.
example. Be the example.
You're gonna have to be the thing. You're gonna have to be the lead.
right, which is of course a terrifying idea.
What does a Latina mixed boot black look like?
Right, that I guess.
This. It looks like this.
Right.
I hope it looks as awesome as
It does
everyone
look awesome. I think it looks awesome. Oh, I'm sorry, my bum in your. But sorry, internet.
You're fine, internet. I'm pretty sure you have seen worse from me.
The internet's fine.
The internet will live. Gotcha. That's always exciting. Ooh, what's the leather community like in Europe?
Austere. No, I'm just kidding.
Austere.
No, it's, so I'm only gonna speak really for like parts of Germany that I was in. I don't know what it's like in like France or the Netherlands or whatever, because I haven't explored it. But it's very structured. It's very hierarchical. You have to be long if you want to be public and out more than just like at a fetish night or something, like at a bar.
Yes.
You really have to be like part of a family. How I came up is you were basically like, when you're new, you're basically an orphan. And someone has to kind of adopt you. Now that's not necessarily who you'll stay with forever. It's not necessarily that you'll be invited to join their home, their house.
Yeah. Pugsley, come here.
But
That's what I thought.
but they kind of are responsible for you. So someone basically, it's like a sponsor kind of.
Yeah.
They sponsor your development, your learning, and they teach you kind of like the basics on your mind
Small
your manners,
mentorship.
your
like that,
manners. Here's how you you know, clean. You do your leather care, and then the places you know, they put you through. You have to go to so many events, and it's not like, oh, you must do events and you can graduate. They decide when you're ready. You know, so it's different for everybody.
Yeah.
On how long you do it, and it depends. Like, you're not out every single weekend. You know, takes you longer than if you're going out every weekend. And some of the sponsors are like, no, you need to be on call and you know, you sign up for that. Like if you want to do that, then okay. If you want them to sponsor you, you will agree to that.
Gotcha.
If you don't want them to sponsor you, then you better hope someone else will.
Gotcha. For you, what does it mean to be on the S side of the slash, to be a master dame?
He was like, the what? Being a dominant for me is like kind of like having a garden, right? So you can plant things can come into your garden, but if you don't take care of them, it dies. So that's kind of how the dynamics are like relationships. I love building people, giving them, whether they're gonna stay with me for a long time or not. I love enabling people to have new skill sets or new perspectives. A lot of people come to me for like, you know, they're like, oh, she's like a hot German dominatrix. I want in on that.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, but like...
That seems like a very fetishized thing.
Absolutely, absolutely. For me to want to have a dynamic that's again like a professional thing, but like a dynamic, I want to see even if, oh, I'm gonna be the best doggy ever. You know what I mean? To be able to enable that.
So we want to grow and develop people.
Yeah.
Okay, I can get.
I had mentors in my life, so it would be nice to be a good mentor. But else, I think.
Pass it along.
We already did that. You already did that. It's clean.
I know. I double check.
I was like, no, I already cleaned it. Wow.
I quit.
Yeah, speedy.
What is your favorite toy in your toy bag?
I don't know if I have. Let me see. Canes.
Canes are fun.
I love canes. My boy is grimacing behind the camera right now. Even though he buys me all the canes, so it's like a weird, I get mixed messages, right? You buy me paddles, you buy me canes, and then you get mad when I don't know. Seems like a trap to me. I do also have a chainmail flogger.
That seems like
that
fun.
I like a lot. It's like a sheet of chainmail basically, and it's all stitched together, and you just kind of whap it. Very heavy, makes a fantastic noise. Remember the first time I brought it out to a public dungeon? Nobody could guess what it was. They all heard it, and there's like, someone thought I was hitting him with a bag of quarters. Like, the way that it sounded.
I saw a flogger made out of quarters.
Did you really?
I saw it on TikTok, and I'm like, I think I might need to get this made for my leather.
I need a quarter. Yeah, so it was, I love canes. I love things that leave welts, marks, and things like that, because, you know, I'm delicate, so I want to leave like little
reminders.
Little reminders. You know, I don't
little pebbles. Little
snacks. Yeah, like that.
Do you think events will change after COVID?
Well, first off, I think the steampunk and the cyberpunk look is coming back in.
I think so too. Which is great.
That's me. I can wear gas masks again in public because I do love a good gas mask.
Same.
Little, like,
Breath plays
I love
great.
I just love the aesthetic of it.
That's you.
But I'm not really sure, because what I would love to see is this accessibility as far as like streaming, like instead of, if I can't attend an event, let's say that's in California or something, I could pay
$100
to have the classes streamed. Now obviously it depends on if your presenters are being able to have themselves streamed like that. But I think that'd be a great opportunity. I think we've also seen like group meetings, whether they're munches or certain organizations, they had to have Zoom meetings, and like all of a sudden, like you could attend like a MAST meeting, which is Masters and Slaves Together, you know, in another state, and meet some other great people that you never would have met because it was on Zoom. So I would love to keep a portion of that moving forward, even if we're doing live in-person events. I would love to maintain at least some of that accessibility.
I agree.
Personally. Oh, he's got a frog, sorry.
Oh.
It's a big old frog, sorry. Chicken.
Henrietta.
Sorry, chicken had a frog, it startled me. Anyway.
Lord. She's a beast.
They're gonna try and steal it?
Yeah. Breakfast, they're trying to steal dinner. Okay, fun things. Okay, I'm gonna double check the bike. You did a good job.
Yeah, mine did a little more scrubbing.
You're fine.
It buckles. If she brings that frog over here, I don't know. Might run away. What if it's not dead?
Oh God, no, I'm pretty sure it's been hanging out. It's a little bloated.
Yeah.
It's fine. Sorry, cameras. You get to see my ass. I'm pretty sure none of you guys are terrified.
Pretty sure you did that.
I'm pretty sure you guys are fine. Okay, perfect. All right. Did you want to burn off the threads? Because I saw a couple threads hang out on the side of
You're
this.
welcome to do that fine detailing on
if
it.
that is, if
For
that's
me, it doesn't bother me.
Okay.
But if it's something that you're like, I would love to do
I would
that,
love to burn the threads
then
on your
you
bag.
do that, because I'm like, it's fine.
Because I don't want your bags falling apart. Because that shit would suck.
Yeah. My purse.
It's broken. Bye. Can you tell us about your podcast?
Oh, yes. We're on a break right now for the holidays.
This is true.
We're going to come back in March.
Ooh, fun.
So right now it is called Trouble Comes In.
It's super fun.
And basically it's myself, Amok, and Caitlin Case, and we typically just drink champagne and talk shit. But we usually talk about, sexual health. We talk about BDSM, kink, leather, queer spaces, these kinds of 18 only topics, and usually our opinions. We like to do some research on some science-based episodes. Maybe the angriest was the state of sexual education in America. Holy crap.
It's terrible.
Yeah, and as irate as I am on the actual audio recording of it, like before I was like throwing chairs. I'm like, what do you mean it doesn't have to be science-based? Like,
no.
no, and like that blows my mind, because Germany is very, very progressive when it comes to things like that. Like you're taught gender identity, you're taught all very extensive. So for me, I was like shook in the wrong way. We do a monthly episode, but like I said, we're on break for the holidays now until March, and we've been taking on some guests. In fact, this guest here actually joined us.
I did.
You are first guest. I think our puppy friend might have been the first guest, but yeah, and I was like, oh, this is brilliant. We should have another guest. Yeah. And then you were just available.
I was available
right after your title win. Oh yeah, because we did the title episode with you. We were like, what are these titles? We talk about them all the time, and we never talk about what
they are and how they like affect you and your partner.
Yeah, exactly.
So me and my husband were on there.
Yeah. So you can check out Girlfriend's episode of Trouble Comes on like Spotify. We put them on YouTube, but it's just audio. It's not. There's not video involved. So sorry, guys.
There is Patreon content though. Fun stories that happen.
And some behind the scenes whoopsies and some get ready with us kind of stuff.
Yeah, like Pupper Poppin' stories.
Yeah. Yes.
Love you. I promise I love you. Why is it so important to learn love history and kink history?
I think that goes for like history is as a general word just being important. Like if you think about like cultural histories and political histories and things like that, these are just things that we as human beings in whatever societies we're in, we should remember, because it keeps you from making the same fucking mistake again, and also as a means of moving forward. Yes. So leather and kink, it's the same thing. If you're into leather sex, if you're into alternative sex, if you are not, what is confined to like the heteronormative, very plain vanilla, not that there's wrong with plain vanilla sex, but you should know.
There's more crayons in the box.
There's more crayons in the box. You should definitely know that I think people were persecuted for this, and they still are. We collectively, all of us here, we're still persecuted for our consensual adult sexual interests and fetishes. And I think a lot of people, especially like people coming up or people just discovering the lifestyle, don't necessarily have that perspective. Like people were dragged out of their homes, out of bars, beaten to death sometimes.
Lost jobs,
lose your jobs for what you did essentially in your bedroom. I mean, had to go elsewhere a lot of the times because it was illegal to be gay as well. So you couldn't just hold hands with your partner in the street, which is like mind blowing. So it's a good way to remember like the sacrifices that came, and realize that we are still fighting those same battles. It's not over yet. It's not that long ago. It is not. It's not over.
No, a lot of that shit's still going on.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna go ahead and take some Obanoffs.
Thirsty girl.
Yeah, because she's a little bit thirsty. So I've got some Obanoffs here. Go ahead. Now I like to warm it up in my hands just to kind of help activate it a bit. It's helpful. Gonna rub it on in.
Take this ring
off. Yeah, there was a reason why I didn't bother wearing rings.
Right.
I was like, no. I love rings, but not today.
I'm gonna condition this butt on it later. You're like, ooh, good for me.
It's so pretty.
Right. No, the condition will come off on my jeans when I drive home later.
No, I brought a brush so we can
There
brush
we
it
go,
down
yeah.
for you. So that way it still looks.
It
that
looks
way
nice.
You don't get.
I won't be wearing all of it.
Yeah. Now you can rub on in. So, all right.
Please condition your leather.
Please. That's all I'm gonna ask. If you learn one thing, do your leather. Learn how to do it. How has the leather community impacted your journey in life?
In life?
Yes.
Well, a couple interesting skill sets. No. A couple interesting skill sets. Something that I always think about when we think about leather, with a capital L, I suppose.
Sorry, there's a whole truck of boys who just stopped.
Hi! Subscribe. One of the things I think about when we talk about leather with a capital L is leather is the skin of an animal, a hide.
Yeah.
You know, and the thing about it is both very supple and very sturdy. And that's kind of how it has to be in life, right? Like, you have to be gentle and soft to have, you know, relationships with people and to accomplish certain things. You also have to have a tough hide sometimes. And I think leather as a material is a really beautiful example of dichotomy that we need to survive this world. And I think leather with a capital L makes me think about people that understand that dichotomy. You know, whether or not they practice it is a different thing, but at one point they understood it.
Yeah.
You know, and then of course you can just be like kinky and disgusting, and it's fine because everybody else is, you know, doing wild things too. And so there's this weird level of like acceptance that you can find. Be like, I'm really into this shit. I like hitting boys with sticks. Oh, well, there's over here that like to be hit with a stick,
and they'll let
you do it, and they'll be very excited. So I think that's the other side of it. That's the more playful side of it, and the less serious. The less serious answer is like, you know, like freaks. Oh, in the best of ways, of course.
They're all good ways.
Oh, good ways. Good ways. Get a little bit.
I love it.
Just sour.
What made you and your co-hosts come up with Trouble Comes in 3?
Too much champagne. No, yes and no. That is the. I guess the three of us individually had considered at some point and you know, prior to it, wanting to do a podcast of some kind. Not really knowing how to get started or what we would talk about, you know, as an individual. Like, oh, I would like to do a podcast. People said that they might listen to me. They like the way I say things. So, okay, start a podcast. And then it just happened one night. We were all drinking together, and one of us mentioned it. I don't remember which of the three of us was like, I'd really like to do a podcast. And all three of us were like, why don't we just do it together?
Yeah.
We can do it together because we're not going to do it on our own. Not really, you know, so that's kind of how it was born. Well, why don't we talk about what we know? And we as three women are very, very different backgrounds, very different histories, very different experiences. But the thing that we share, BDSM, kink, leather, fetish. So I was like, why don't we just talk about that shit? Because people want to hear it. They want to hear it. They, you know, it can be a safe place for people to ask questions, whether they're newbies or they're advanced and just want to laugh. You know, and an excuse to get together and have champagne. That's pretty much how it went.
I like it. That's an easy enough answer.
Yeah. It's a very easy answer.
I love it. What is it like being a woman in the community?
Oh, Lord.
I know.
Second-class citizen. And I mean that with all seriousness. And I was the same way, mind you, because mostly in Europe, women are submissives, unless you're a professional dominatrix, in which case, obviously, you're pro-dom and you're not really considered part of the community, quote, quote, which is stupid. But it is what it is. It's always kind of that you always tend to be like somebody's plus one. Your male friends are going to an event So they're gonna let you, not with friends, but the event will let you go in because you're with these guys or whatever. So that can be discouraging. As a queer woman, locally, there's not a ton of women's spaces specific. There's loads of men's only spaces, but not a lot of not of the same. You know, not women and, you know, other non-man spaces. That don't really, doesn't exist, doesn't happen as much. You know, it's not a priority. It's not a priority. You see that at some events and things like that, where it'll be like, oh, a men's only party. Where's the non-man party? Is there not? There's not. It's, and here's where I draw the line. I think exclusive spaces, exclusive parties, I actually think they're fun. I think they're fantastic. It's whether it's a niche fetish, like, oh, it's a foot party. If you're not into feet, it's not for you. I think they're fabulous, but not at the expense of becoming exclusionary. So there's the line, right, between exclusive and exclusionary. Yeah. If there's, say, an event that has a men's only party, there should be a room or party that is for non-men only. Yeah. You know, that's just my opinion, but
you know, that caters to everybody who isn't the male
right,
audience,
you know, because it's like I'm not like this is my preference, right? Like I'm a woman, but like for me, a non-binary person in a woman's you're fine. Come, you're fine. You know what I mean? So really, just like non-men. If there's men party, it should be a non-men party. Personally, you treat it as the other. Standard is the man, and then the other variation. Yeah. Often, because a femme is like a novelty.
That sometimes.
Like, kind of like I've seen in my experience outside the professional community, more butch women as tops dominance
than a femme.
And I think, and maybe that's just who they are, but I think in some way, it's the same reason women in corporate America wear pantsuits instead of skirts. Yeah, you're trying to blend in. You're trying to be one of them, and I refuse to do that. I love a good pantsuit. Don't get me wrong, but you know, I am gonna dress femme because I am. That's who I am as a person, and it doesn't negate my qualifications. It doesn't negate my personality. You know, and I think we got a long way to go. Yeah. So it was a long-winded way of saying second class citizen. I felt like I had to qualify it a little bit.
Nope, it's a reason.
If I get distracted, you just redirect me, darling. Don't worry.
No, you're fine. This is your show, and we can take up about as much things as we want.
Yeah.
Gotcha. What is your favorite piece of bone?
It is. My favorite piece of leather. Well, it's accident last night. I was actually given, it's my fault, I broke the zipper. He was, okay, so someone gave me a jacket that was from 1982. They gave me another jacket, and then I gave it to him being my boy who's off camera. So he could, it's also like a bike jacket, so like padding in the shoulder. So he looks as broad as he is. It's a good look for him.
I love it.
Me, not a great look, but it was a good look for him. Anyway, last night he was wearing it, and so I went to put my hands under his shirt, and then the zipper went whap because he was a little tipsy and pulled away, and the zipper went whoosh. And then he was upset because he thought he'd be stuck in the jacket forever because we couldn't get the zipper up. But we didn't. Here you are, jacket.
Does it need to be repaired?
Yeah, we it today, but we were running behind, so we didn't get to grab a couple things from the house that I wanted to bring today.
Gotcha.
But that's okay. We'll see each other again soon.
No problem. I actually know a very, very good leather worker here in town who's like 5 minutes away.
Yes, so that's probably my favorite. I don't wear it, but it was given to him.
Gotcha.
So it's significant to it, yeah.
Gotcha. Tell us your top 3 kinks and or fetishes.
Well, I'm gonna go with the obvious one. I actually have a leather fetish. I love the smell of it. I love the touch. I love everything, the sound when it's squeaky. So as a fetish, in the traditional sense, because the fetish is the guys. We get fusion on the word. We use fetish and kink interchangeably sometimes, and it's not really how they work, but it's easy for people to understand, I guess. So leather is definitely, I am a sadist, so I just enjoy sadism as I guess as a kink. I enjoy inflicting pain for my own sexual gratification. And then I would have to say probably rope bondage. I love bondage. Bondage is where I got started, and I love rope bondage. Doesn't have to be super, super complicated and pretty, even though I love that. Just the sound of rope, the feel of rope, you know, the look of it when it's on somebody's body.
Yeah.
Any body, male body, female body, non-binary body, chunky body, skinny body.
I like being a brat in rope.
Like being a brat in rope.
It's probably like
So yeah,
top 10 favorites for me.
leather, sadism, and rope bondage, I think would be.
Always very, very rare when I get to be a brat in rope, but when I do.
Oh yeah, when I do, you're like, I'm loose now.
When I do, I usually clear out a dungeon.
You wildin'.
Is BDSM and kink sexual?
The trick question for the asexual. So I think there is an inherent sexiness to BDSM and kink. People do it because it tickles them, whether in their brain or in their genitals. So I would say that there is something inherently sexual. The intent behind it doesn't have to be sexual. I think it would be intimacy.
Okay.
For me. Kissed. If I hit him with a stick, he is not deriving sexual pleasure from being hit by a stick. I tend to be more arrow ace, so I don't derive. So for me, hitting him with a stick is my version of sex. That's for me very gratifying in a way that I imagine sex is for people that are more like allosexual.
I'm gonna help reshoot this.
Yeah. But I think it's sexy by accident sometimes. But it doesn't have to be overtly sexual.
Deal.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because like, I don't know, maybe some people are into like rubber duckies. I would do it if it made somebody happy because I think they're cute, but would I necessarily think it's sexy? Probably not.
Gotcha. You would do it to make them happy.
Right. You know, oh, you're having a good time? Well, I'll have a good time. Yeah.
I was helping reshape the inside of this with the Obanoffs. Because that's something you can do with your boots as well.
Yes.
That's a fun fact.
Yes. I use Obanoffs at home on my stuff. I like
Same.
the texture of it. It's like, I feel like it just drinks in really well. I haven't tried, they have like an oil I haven't tried, but I just like the massaging.
I have the oil. The oil's good too.
You like it?
Okay. I use it anytime I'm going north to Chicago.
Oh, you need that instant deep dish.
Yeah, because the salt up there is really, really harsh on
yeah,
anything that eats my leather.
Yeah.
What'd you drop?
Nothing. I went this ass. My butt cheeks.
You dropped your ass.
My butt cheeks. I was like, sorry.
Gotcha.
Fix it.
How do you find time for the community?
I think you make time.
Make time.
It's like anything. If it's a priority, you do what you can. Obviously, things have been non-traditional with, you know, the last 2 years or whatever. So making time is actually easier, I think, right now because everything is like digital. So I can just I can be making dinner, but listening to a conversation or listening to a class or something like that.
I usually walk my dogs when I listen to your podcast.
Yeah, podcasts. These are great ways. Supporting people that have started content creation, whether it's, you know, sexual content creation or just like we're doing leather care right now. Again, inherently sexy, but not, you know, overtly sexy.
Yes.
Supporting your friends, supporting people locally on their endeavors and this kind of thing. If they're crafty, you know, buying something for the holidays from the stuff that they make. Moving forward, we see how it works out with things being more in person again. Because like I have a day job. I have the dominatrix stuff. I've got him. I'm also like working on a master's degree and I'm training for a marathon. So there's a lot going on. But again, it's one of those things like I just don't sleep now.
True.
No, sleep. No. I do sleep.
You need to sleep.
Oh yeah, I take cat naps. It's actually in our contract that I take cat naps, and he has to let me. He has to be quiet while I take my cat nap.
Has to be quiet.
You know, because he's such a talker anyway.
Is there anything happening in the comments, love? Nothing. That's fine.
Good.
What is your definition of leather?
Capital L?
Yes.
I think leather is typically defined as like a set of principles, right? because you think it has like this history in both biker club as well as military kind of personnel. Again, that goes back to know your history. There comes this kind of expected level of behavior. If someone says to me, oh, I'm a leather person, I instantly have an expectation of their behavior, of their civility, of the way they conduct themselves. I have this expectation. Whether or not they rise to that expectation is irrelevant. I mean, I'm not here to tell you you're not leather enough or I'm not leather enough, you know.
Yes.
That's not my business. You are what you say you are. But a lot of times your behavior will
reflect that.
Somebody who has taken the time to learn the history of some of their, you know, maybe looked up the fetishes that they were into and then kind of found their way, I feel like I'm just getting between the studs here, found their way into, you know, the leather look, and has an appreciation for, like we talked about earlier, the people that came before them, and understanding like, hey, this is how it got started in the sense that I'm seeing it. You know, like when you think about leather, you think about like, you know, the jeans and the jacket and the harnesses and the boots.
Yeah. I mean, because it looks all very cool and pretty.
Oh,
and
it looks
like
fabulous. Don't get me wrong. But putting on a pair of jeans and biker boots might not necessarily make you leather. But it's a step in the right direction.
Yeah.
Even just appreciating it, that's good.
Yeah. Can leather and kink be political? We're in the U.S.
Well, I think its existence is already political. We're already making a statement. Dressing the way we do and acting the way we do, like, we've already made a statement. My relationship is FLR. Like, I'm a femdom. Traditionally, already messed up, you know? So it's a political statement. It's already a statement saying that I don't have to live my life according to a set of rules that somebody else came up for me. Sure. So in that sense, absolutely.
Sure. Why not? Why not? What is your definition of consent?
Definition of consent.
Definition of consent.
Well, it has to be enthusiastic. It has to be clear. It has to be ongoing, which I know is like really vague words, but it has to not come from a place that is, hello chicken, come from a place that is like pressured or coerced in any way. A big fat, yes, I absolutely would like to do X thing with you at this time. You know, clarity is important, because just because I let someone fuck my ass once doesn't mean you're allowed to do it all the time.
Yes.
You know, so I was withdrawn, you know, it has to be ongoing and that kind of thing. So it's a lot of really fun, like, consent acronyms and things like that. I think there was like one called FRIES, and it was like freely given, that kind of stuff. Love them.
Love them, too. Is there any organizations that you support in the community?
Well, I am a hard pink sister. I like that. Again, everything with like the pandemic, there's not a lot of, we usually do like hospitality suites and things at events and stuff like that, or put together charity baskets and things like that. Women of Leather in Lauderdale. It's a bit of a journey, but it's a nice weekend trip. And then I tried to do, I used to go to munches when they were happening a lot. Like a couple of my friends would run them, so I stopped by. They ran one for like new people, so I would go by, and a couple other people that have been in the game a little bit, you know, they could field questions and things like that. I like being kind of a free agent in the sense that I like supporting like a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit that, and kind of like wherever you need a body, I'm going, you know, that kind of way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why not?
I like it. I like all the community support. All right. Well, thank you for your time.
Thank you for shiny bike.
A nice new shiny bike. Brand new.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you would like to add?
Oh, I think I talked enough.
I'm done. I'm tired.
I think I talked enough, yeah.
Gotcha. Well, thank you. I really appreciate it. Now,
Absolutely.
please go follow this lovely woman on all her social media, and please pay for her extra content on Just for Fans. Where can people find you again in case they joined late?
So on Instagram, it's Madam Hexe Official, and then the links to everything else is on there. So that's your best bet to find me.
Perfect. And where can we see you next?
In person?
Yes.
Well, yeah, duh, I guess.
Yeah, like
yeah.
I think
You were like dancing around it. I was like, oh yeah.
So actually, I think you're teaching a class soon.
Yes, that's right. Oh yeah. No, I did forget. Yes, the Florida Power Exchange that's happening next week. I'll be teaching 2 classes there. My boy, I'll be teaching straight razor shaving as a service, which is kind of fun. And one of my things is straight razor shaving. And then I'll actually be teaching a FLR, like reality class. You know, like what is it like to be in a long-term, full-time female-led relationship? You know, whether you're a curious woman or whether you're a man who's like, where are these women? That kind of thing. So, it'll be fun.
Well, thank you guys. I hope you have fun. Pop. Yeah.
Are we out?
Yeah, I think I was getting you ready so you could stand up, you rude person. Well, thank you guys for coming to hang out with me. If you guys would like to check me out, you can head to my Linktree and any of my social media. I'm girlfriend XOXO. And also check out my website. I have shoes for sale that help go to my travel fund for the year. So if you're a size 7.5,
Specifically.
I've got you a whole smorgasbord of leather right now. Come hang out with me. I do boot black Thursday, and if you're seeing this later on YouTube, hi. Come hang out with me. Bye, guys.